Magic Kingdom Day was the day that I stayed at the park from basically rope drop to basically closing. Like I think we
Mhm.
left like a half hour before closing or something, like 15 minutes, something like that.
Is that
Which
the Space Mountain Day?
that's a Space Mountain Day.
Okay, yes, yes. Again, your rabid Disney audience is probably like, of course, Space Mountain is in, Magic Kingdom. How could you not know that? I don't know. I don't know much about Disneyland. I'm sorry. That time it was on purpose.
Yeah. So anyway, like Magic Kingdom kind of felt like the where we were staying, it was very easy to get to Hollywood Studios. It's a straight shot along the because the Caribbean is the hub of the Skyliner. So you just take the Skyliner from the Caribbean to Hollywood Studios. And likewise, you just take the Skyliner from Caribbean Beach to Epcot. But Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, you have to take a bus, which Magic Kingdom is tricky because all the people at the Caribbean are going to be going to to Magic Kingdom, and we were a little slow getting around in the morning.
Hmm.
And otherwise, it wouldn't be too bad. Like if we, except for the fact that we had uh, our character breakfast reservation that morning at Crystal Palace because
Right.
we are gonna have a visit with Winnie the Pooh and his friends. Because I wanted to give Cora the character like the Disney experience and do a character meal. Um, and I knew that like Winnie and the Pooh is like one of your favorites. So
Yeah, so like when we were doing the planning for this, I think a little bit I was like, I don't know about all this character stuff. And then you let me know that Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Piglet and all of them are at the Crystal Palace on in the Marines. And I was like, Winnie the Pooh's gonna be there? I
yeah,
I might want to see Winnie the Pooh. Those shorts from the 70s, I've seen those 1,000 times, probably, also. I watched a lot of the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh when it was on like Saturday mornings. And even today, when I'm getting ready for work sometime, I find myself singing the theme song, Gotta get up, gotta get going, gonna see a friend of mine, etc., etc. I can do the rest of the theme song. I just don't want us to get a copyright strike. So, like,
yeah,
that was something that I was like very excited for in a very childlike way. And there is a very adorable picture, which maybe we'll be putting up right now. My favorite is the one of me and Tigger, where I'm just like completely blissed out, you know, because it's Tigger. And I know it's a guy in a costume, obviously, I know that. But like it just the magic really worked for me.
yeah, um, yeah. I really enjoyed our breakfast. It's the food's good at Crystal Palace. Like it's just a buffet. It's a breakfast buffet. Like we
Yeah.
went for the breakfast. I had a, I think I had a Bloody Mary with my breakfast, so that was, I mean, it was fine. Obviously, one of the few places you can drink at Magic Kingdom, but because like if you've never been to the Magic Kingdom or Disneyland for that matter, the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland were kind of originally set up so you couldn't drink. There's no alcohol. Like you go to Hollywood Studios or Epcot, Animal Kingdom, like all the quick service stands have beer or some kind of alcohol available. But Magic Kingdom, they don't. In Disneyland, it's even actually more restricted than Magic Kingdom because I think it's like two restaurants, whereas all the sit down restaurants at Magic Kingdom have alcohol.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, I had a Bloody Mary because I mean, why not? It's vacation.
5 o'clock
But
somewhere.
yeah. No, the breakfast is good. It was nice, neat seeing the animals. Of course, because we had that reservation and they are very set. Like you have basically like 10 to 15 minutes of wiggle room, and then your reservation, unless like it's up to the people, if they might be generous and say, okay, you can keep it, but most likely they're going to just say, nope, too late. So you need to be sure you're there on time for these reservations. Well, since we got around too slow to take the bus, we we basically had one option to us was to take the minivan service that Disney has, which is it's Lyft. It's Lyft, but it's the Lyft driver is a cast member, a Disney employee,
Hmm.
and they drive these vehicles that are polka dot red and white because it's mini MINNIE
Hmm.
minivan. Um, and I mean, it's a nice way to get where you need to go. It's certainly quicker than the buses. And if you really enjoy that kind of Disney experience, it's nice. If you enjoy watching the newer generation Mickey Mouse cartoons with
Over and over and over
uh,
again.
Scuzzbag Goofy, it's nice.
If you're the kind of person who you get like a ride share or a taxi and you don't want to have a conversation with the driver,
It's
um,
not.
it's not nice.
Yeah, so I think we had differing opinions of the ride to Magic Kingdom. I enjoyed it. Um, I don't mind talking to drivers, especially cheerful drivers, talking about Disney World or whatever.
Hmm.
Anyway, the biggest reason, like we could have taken a lift, we could have gotten a just regular lift, but the biggest reason we took the minivan is the minivan will drop you off by the buses at the Magic Kingdom. Whereas if you just took a regular lift, you get dropped off at the TTC, which means you have to go all around on the monorail or on the shuttle ferry, uh,
Hmm.
the ferry to Magic Kingdom, which probably would have put us in trouble with time wise. Whereas getting dropped off right at the front gate, we just had to go through security and uh, into the park and walk up through Main Street USA, and we were there. So anyway, it was kind of an unexpected. Like I had no intentions of using a minivan, but it was interesting to kind of get a feel for it. I think outside of an absolute time crunch in the future, if I were there, I would probably just get a regular lift because it's considerably more expensive. Uh,
At Disney, what?
yeah, I
There's a
think it could
completely
be.
unnecessary markup? Wow.
Yeah, I know that's a shocker. I think it could be worth it for you if like you had a couple strollers and like you were a family because they're well equipped for uh that situation as opposed to a lift. It's going to be kind of luck of the draw type situation with that. But for two of us without that situation, I mean it would have been considerably cheaper just getting a lift. Or getting up early enough and getting on the bus that's free. Well, doesn't have additional cost. But yeah, we had the nice breakfast at Crystal Palace, and then we that was the first day we had Genie Plus because we didn't use it for Epcot, I don't believe. Um, we used it because the Winnie the Pooh theme we ate at Crystal Palace, and then we rode the Winnie the Pooh ride, which of
Hmm.
course, if you're old like I am, uh, you know that the Winnie the Pooh ride replaced the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Magic Kingdom. Um, which, whatever, I enjoyed it. I went on it once. It was fine. Uh,
Hmm.
Winnie the Pooh doesn't take you to hell at the end, so it doesn't have that. But it's a fun ride.
It doesn't take you to hell?
Yeah, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride ended with you going to dying in a car wreck and going to hell. Um,
What?
actually, that's yes.
This place is weird. This is a weird place.
Apparently, has something to do with how the tradition of dark rides, like from I don't know a century ago, they always ended like with a bad ending or something, like a scary ending.
Oh, they're not just
So
dark rides, they're dark rides.
yeah,
They're
they're
just
dark rides.
dark.
Yeah. Um, so that's why Mr. Toad's Wild Ride ends with you and dying and yeah, in hell. And uh like the Snow White ride before I think they changed it at Disneyland ended with the Queen actually winning or basically throwing you off a ledge or something. I don't remember how that ends, but
Wow.
yeah, it was and of course that's still how Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is because it still exists out at Disneyland. But
The Finding Nemo ride ends with Albert Brooks getting caught in a tuna nets.
I mean, yeah, I mean eventually that's not how they built the rides. um but yeah, so the Winnie the Pooh ride though is really nice, neat ride. It's a cute ride. I didn't really fit into the seat because like I could have fit fine if I was just by myself, but I was riding in the same on the same row with Cora. So because my legs were kind of squished together, I was like wedged in, so I wasn't actually sitting on the seat. I was like a few inches off the seat. It's not going to know you're not going to notice this just listening to it, but there's this whole part here where we had to cut because of a package was delivered or something. But anyway, we had ridden the Pooh Dark ride, which after that it was starting to get towards the middle of the day. It was starting to get warm. I think you were at the end of your bandwidth for being in a park for the time being. So we rode on the train from the Fantasyland station there at Storybook Circus, and then I think we rode it around. And then you got off at the Main Street station, and then you went back to the hotel room.
Right.
And
I was like, I need a nap.
yeah, and I just stayed. I mean, I stayed. I ate lunch at Magic Kingdom, at Casey's corner. I I didn't ride any rides, like because I was kind of shot. My feet were kind of shot, and it was hot, and I think I was a little dehydrated or something. I basically just walked around a bit. I went and availed myself of the three air conditioned shows at Liberty Square, Adventureland, and Fantasyland at the time. Not Fantasyland, sorry, Frontierland. Um, so I went to Hall of Presidents and watched that, and went to the Tiki Bird show and watched that, and then I went to the Country Bear Jamboree, which I'm glad I did, considering it's now closed, and when it comes back, it'll be a completely different show. So I got one last time. I got a chance to watch the Country Bear Jamboree, which by the end of it, I was tearing up because I kind of had a feeling that that was going to be the last time I watched it. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy, although anyone who gone to the Country Bear Jamboree before and enjoyed it probably understands it. I don't know. There's just something about animatronic, like the intentionality of animatronic shows, particularly the bears, which are fairly elaborate performances and all of that. That it just got to me. So I was tearing up by the end.
I don't think that's cheesy at all, for the record.
Well, thank you. Um, anyway, by that time, I think I got out of it, and then I think I stopped and I sat on like a I don't know, and then the adventure cabaret cavalcade came by, and it's just a bunch of random characters like from movies that kind of are classified as more adventure themed from Disney and Pixar. Uh, I think they are very loose in their definition of what an adventure is. But anyway, that came by, and then by that time you were back in the park, weren't you, Cora? Because you texted me and said that uh, this parade or this cavalcade was going by, and
Yeah, we were both looking at it like from different at different points on
yeah,
the route.
yeah. I think I was at Frontierland and you were up in Main Street, USA, watching it. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, we met up. We went to Columbia Harbor House, one of my favorite quick service places there at Magic Kingdom. We didn't go upstairs. So I don't remember. I think it's because I couldn't do stairs at that point. I was
Right.
like, I'd like to go up there because it's nice up there, but um, I mean that's the hidden secret. I shouldn't even talk about it because I don't want people listening to this and be like, oh, we need to go up to the and everyone going up to the second level of Columbia Harbor House and
Oh,
ruining
there
it.
isn't a
But
second level on Columbia Harbor House. What are you talking about?
that's right. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, totally
Um,
is.
yeah, there's only one level. Those stairs, even if they're open, they don't go anywhere. Um,
Just drops you out onto the sidewalk.
anyway, it was a nice meal. I mean, it's a nice meal. Um, definitely one of the better quick service places at Magic Kingdom. Um, I didn't get a chance to go to Cosmic Rays, which is not one of the better quick service places from its reputation, but it does have Sunny Eclipse. I didn't get a chance to see Sunny Eclipse play out, except for seeing him through the window when we walked through Tomorrowland. But uh, there's always next time. Um, anyway, so then we went and we got used our lightning lane to go ride the Haunted Mansion. I stopped the Haunted Mansion because I am very tall and could not get the front of the Doom buggy to lock. Um, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I felt a little sheepish about stopping the ride. Uh,
I don't think you needed to feel
I
sheep.
know.
I feel the need to just say for the audience that my wife is a very beautiful woman,
Thank you.
and I love her. I love every inch of her.
Thanks. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. What was your impression of the Haunted Mansion?
The Haunted Mansion was a lot of fun. I remember liking, and this again is like, it was starting to be towards sundown, so I was starting to like be more into it. I liked again, the unabashed kind of corniness of it, the dancing ghosts and all that. I enjoyed that a lot. It's also like, this is one of the two rides that we've gone to that are like so famous that I had heard of them since I was a little kid. Like this and Space Mountain, which I did later. Um, so that was nice too. It felt like a real experience.
Yeah, yeah. I wish we had had a chance. Like, it just didn't work out with timing and everything to do Big Thunder Mountain. That was the one ride that we did at Disney at Magic Kingdom. That I wish we could have done. Like, I mean, there's Pirates of the Caribbean and a couple others that I'm forgetting. It's a Small World that I would have enjoyed. I don't know if you would have enjoyed it, but
And
that we didn't get to. But
I think yeah, the two I'm just talking broadly the whole
yeah,
park here. The two that I kind of like, if we went back, I would like to do. is Splash Mountain or whatever they're retheming it as. Because I love water rides. I
Yeah,
love I love that stuff. And Tower of Terror, which Splash Mountain wasn't open when we were going there. Tower of Terror was, but it just that day it just didn't end up working out.
yeah. Yeah, since we were there in March of 2023, that was a couple months after they had closed Splash Mountain to remodel it into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is going to be opening sometime this summer, I believe, when we recorded this in 2024. Yeah, I'm kind of sad that we didn't get a chance to do that because I mean Splash Mountain and I think Tiana's, which is going to be the same basic ride, just different setting and show. Um,
The Splash
it's a
Mountain
really
is
good
supposed to be
ride.
from Song of the South, right?
Yeah, Splash
Okay.
Mountain was Brer
Yeah.
Rabbit, and yes,
Because I was gonna say it's got less racist source material now.
yeah. And Tower of Terror. I don't know if you'll get me back on that ride again. Um, but I did wish that you could have ridden it while I don't know, had a coffee waiting for you or something.
Yeah, this is another thing, another difference in how we kind of experience these places is that I don't have a lot of Disney experience, but I have a lot of like amusement park experience. I like roller coasters. I like all kinds of rides. So that was the thing that I was most excited about. I want to go and, what are the interesting rides that we will have time for where the wait isn't too crazy, like etc. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was really excited for Space Mountain. And I was not let down by that experience. I literally been hearing about it since I was like 5 years old, you know, and it was great. It was a complete thrill. I felt a little like shaky on my feet when I was walking out. I think I was kind of like staggering out a little bit. Um, just 100% a blast. Absolutely enjoyed
Yeah,
it. 10 out of 10 would do again.
yeah. And while she was riding Space Mountain and having a blast, I was riding the Carousel of Progress because one reason why I kind of gravitate towards Disney World versus, say, like Islands of Adventure, Universal, uh, or like the more like Cedar Fair, not Cedar, that's the company, whatever it is, the big theme parks, the big amusement parks with the big thrill rides. I'm not a huge thrill ride fan. Like my enjoyment really kind of taps out at its highest for a thrill ride being like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the former Splash Mountain, or Big Thunder Mountain. I've ridden Space Mountain. I enjoyed it when I wasn't worried that I was going to be like seriously hurt because I'm of my size, which I know that I was never in danger of that. But and I enjoyed Expedition Everest, and to a certain degree, I think I enjoyed Tower of Terror the one or two times I've ridden it. Um, but it's not something that I like really enjoy doing. I enjoy much more rides like the People Mover or Living with the Land or It's a Small World. Those kind of rides, if I'm riding a ride. Uh, so yeah, she rode Space Mountain. I rode Carousel Progress. And of course, before that, we watched the fireworks. We didn't watch it from the main vantage area because that's where everyone was. We watched it from the side over by the Winnie the Pooh ride, across from the the Pooh ride, next to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train roller coaster. And honestly, it was a great place to watch fireworks if you're not worried about trying to see the projections on the castle.
That was
Um,
really magical, honestly. That was
yeah,
really nice.
Yeah, especially since like sitting there, you kind of get you get the fireworks that are kind of going off at the castle, but then you also are like surrounded by the fireworks because like the big fireworks are going off behind Magic Kingdom, somewhere in backstage. So you kind of feel like you're surrounded by fireworks, and it's got this really neat effect to it. That yeah, it was magical. I'm glad we did that. I'm glad we had the time between going
Mm.
from Haunted Mansion to Space Mountain to do that. Um, but yeah, it was a great day. We ended it up by getting snacks at the confectionery on the way out. I got this like M&M peanut butter cookie cake pie or something called thing that was delicious. Um, anyway, it was a great day. Um, and I didn't feel that bad at the end of it. Like obviously I walked like 11,000 steps or something like that, but it was nice. And of course it meant that my day at Animal Kingdom was much shorter the next day. Um, now that day was the day that Cora was like we had it planned. I was going to go by myself to Animal Kingdom, and Cora was going to take a rest day,
Hmm.
um, which made sense. Of course, I didn't get started till afternoon. Like it was 1 o'clock or something when I got on the bus to go to Animal Kingdom. Because I had spent the entire day at Magic Kingdom. Of course, I was going to sleep in. Um, but yeah, so I went to Animal Kingdom. Uh, I didn't ride any rides. I didn't do any shows at Animal Kingdom. I just walked around to kind of enjoy the atmosphere. Um, because I didn't have a lot of time because we needed to get back because we had a dinner reservation that night, which we'll talk about. But I did eat lunch at Nomad Lounge, which was really good. I had a salad that was like uh, all ingredients that came from Living with the Land, and uh, I had a nice watermelon. I think it was watermelon something or other drink. I didn't have the churros because I was eating a lot of sweets at different times, and I didn't want to push it, to be honest. Which is too bad because their churros are supposed to be uh, some of the best churros around. Um, like, okay, Disney World has a reputation that the churros kind of suck compared to Disneyland's. But Nomad Lounge's churros are not, they're different. They're a higher quality than they're supposed to be really good. And I was kind of looking forward to them, but I didn't order them because, again, I didn't want all that sweet.
I want to say that I love you, and I love that you know the reputation of Disney World churros as it fluctuates throughout the eras.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I keep up to date with the opinions, the conventional wisdom on churros at the different properties. Um,
Hmm.
but
You get the
yeah,
DW churro updates. You're just every day, still mid, still mid.
so yeah, Animal Kingdom, there wasn't a lot. I mean, I just walked around. I went to Pandora and took some pictures, and it's a really neat place. It's a very well done uh place that kind of makes you feel like you're in the world if it were a national park, is kind of the way that it's set up. I didn't eat anything. I didn't go to the Satuli Canteen, which is supposed to be really good. Didn't eat anything there. Um, so I don't have anything to say about that. I did make a point of going to Dinoland USA because that's going to be gone sooner rather than later. Basically, they're going to replace that, which is kind of sad because it's even though it's kind of it was definitely a theme area that was done on the cheap because, but it's, even though that was kind of the constraint they had to work with, was can we do this on a budget? Because this was the post Disneyland Paris era when Disney was tightening the strings. Eisner was like all of that. Like California Adventure opens and it's this kind of half-assed park and that kind of period. Animal Kingdom is a great park. It's always been a great park, but Dino Land was clearly not as like it's themed well, but it's also themed on the cheap. Uh, and the theme is that it's basically a tourist trap that's next to this dinosaur institute where the dinosaur ride is. If you're not aware of that. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it's very charming. It's very charming in that way of kind of like the a tourist trap kind of feel. There was a roller coaster that kind of played in a jokey manner the same storyline of Dinosaur that used to be there, but they took it out, so it's gone. Um, anyway, in a couple of years, it's probably going to be like Indiana Jones and Encanto and Coco themes. So, and of course, Dinosaur is a good ride. I didn't ride it because I don't know. The dinosaur, the Carnotasaur, kind of scares me being a tall person. So, not because it's a ferocious dinosaur, because that dinosaur gets really close to you at the end. So,
You should be afraid of dinosaurs. They rule the earth.
okay, I'm afraid of dinosaurs the appropriate amount,
Okay.
as opposed
Good.
to additionally because of the Carnotasaur at the end. Anyway, it's going to be sad when that ride goes away. Like I walked around, I saw Kevin the Bird from Up, uh, which was neat. That's one of the neater walk around characters they have, I think. It's somebody in a like suit, and then they have people basically guiding them along. But it looks like the bird Kevin from Up, and it's really neat. Um,
Fun.
yeah. Anyway, then I kind of had to stop, and I broke down crying because
Mm.
I was worried I wasn't going to get back in time so we could get ready for our reservation at Le Cellier at Epcot for dinner that night.
I feel like it was fine though.
It was fine. I was just worried that the bus wouldn't be there on time, and
Right.
uh, it was, and it were all worked out. It was fine.
Mhm.
Um, we made it there in time, and that was a nice meal. Uh,
That was a really nice meal.
I had like a bison sirloin or something,
And
whatever it was excellent.
I had a filet mignon for the first time in like, I don't know, like uh one thing about Disney World that I didn't really know going in is that you really can't fault, like the food is really top notch. And Le Cellier, I don't know if this was my favorite because of the surprise thing that we are going to talk about for the next day, but like, it was just an excellent steak dinner. I was a really big fan of
Yeah,
it. And like the ambiance is really nice. Um, yeah.
yeah. And we didn't get dessert. Actually, we did get dessert, but not at Le Cellier.
Hmm.
After that, there's a popcorn stand in front of Le Cellier at the Canada Pavilion. And one of the things, I mean, they have the regular popcorn, but they also have caramel,
Hmm.
some kind of not caramel, it's maple syrup flavored popcorn that we got. That was really good. And we took it back with us. I wanted to get one of the souvenir buckets, but they were out. So not one of the like gimmicky souvenir buckets, just that are normal cylindrical souvenir buckets. But they were out, so that kind of sucked. I did get one the next day, but
Hmm.
we didn't spend much time at Epcot. We just went to Le Cellier for dinner, and we got the popcorn, and then we stopped long enough to take a couple pictures of you at the like there was a Winnie the Pooh like because it's a Flower and Garden Festival, They
Right.
have all these topiaries, elaborate topiaries of characters. And in the UK pavilion, they had Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and a couple of the other characters,
Hmm.
which was neat. So,
Yeah, that was really nice.
and also like a front had come through or something because it was much cooler that night than it had been recently. So it was a nice stroll back. I remember it being nice walking back to the Skyliner station, and also because this was before the fireworks had started at Epcot, so it wasn't busy, um, which was nice. Didn't have to wait in a huge line to get back. But anyway, that was a nice day. It was a quiet day, but it was a nice day.
Hmm. Yeah, you had a nice low key day at Animal Kingdom, and I spent a lot of time playing Victoria 3 on my laptop.
Yeah, yeah. I think you went to sometime. Was that? Yeah, you went to the back up to the food court or whatever that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what I ended up doing. Um, just grabbing something quick. I wasn't thinking
Yeah,
about, like, because like the really special meals I want to share with you, obviously.
yeah,
So I'm not that invested if it's just me.
yeah. Our final day was the day that we scheduled to go to Hollywood Studios. And of course, some of you probably know it as Disney MGM Studios. But uh, anyway, I think at some point I harbored fantasies of that being a rope drop day, but no, I think we rolled in at the crack of like noon or something, like 1 o'clock. Um, and we both went there, but I think you once we got there and we sat down for lunch, you weren't feeling very good or something.
I think so. I remember the lunch was good though.
Yeah, when we went to Backlot, the Backlot Express, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, it's pretty standard theme park food fare, but it's not bad. And I think we got the Wookiee cookie, which has changed, but like at the time that we were there, the Wookiee cookie was more like a giant oatmeal cream pie, um, which was really good. It was a good cookie. So after we ate lunch, you went back to the hotel and I think slept some more. Um,
Probably played some more Victoria 3, yeah.
yeah, I stayed at Hollywood Studios and I was basically shot. So it was good. Hollywood Studios was the last park that I was at because I think it's the smallest of the four. Um, like if you don't, especially if you did, I didn't end up going to Galaxy's Edge or Toy Story Land. Frankly, I don't want to step foot in Toy Story Land until it's dark because that place has no shade. It's busy as
Mm-hmm.
crap and it just looks like it's about 200 degrees there during the day. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ride any of the rides because there's like 7 rides at Hollywood Studios and 6 of them are like constantly busy. 5 of them, okay. The alien saucer ride uh is not usually that busy, and then Star Tours is barely busy. Um, but the others are like an hour and a half, 80 minutes kind waits. And I think I bought Lightning. I did buy Genie Plus because I assumed that Cora and I were going to be there and we were going to be riding rides. But
Mm-hmm.
like if you were going to ride Tower of Terror, you would have had a Lightning lane to do it. But since it was just me, I just decided I was going to do all the shows. So I went to the Indiana Jones stunt show, which I'm not a huge nostalgia person, but that one brings it back because it's like one of the few truly it and basically Muppets 3D are the last two things attractions. Okay, the Beauty and the Beast show too.
Mm-hmm.
those are like the last three things that really feel connected to like what the park was even before Tower of Terror was there. Everything else is like completely different, changed. Star Tours is a different version than what it used to be. And the Indiana Jones show was basically what I remembered it from it 30 years ago. So that was it was a lot of fun. And I went to the Beauty and the Beast show, which is fun, even though for some reason it has them dancing at the end instead of in the middle of it. And after the Beast has become Prince, he technically doesn't have a name in the movie, but he's other material has him named Prince Adam. Um, I don't know. So I mean, it was nice. And then, of course, I went to Muppets 3D, which is as good as always. And oh, and then I went to the Frozen sing along show, which is really nice. It's a really good show. And like by the end, like it was like I was getting chills when at the end when Elsa makes it snow in the place. So like it's just a really done, but it's also really funny the whole way it's done. It's just a good show. Um, anyway, I'm glad I did that because a lot of times you go to these parks, you might skip shows, and a lot of those shows are worth seeing. Like one that I kind of wish I had while I was there, but I didn't feel like it for multiple reasons, was Festival of the Lion King at Animal Kingdom. It's a really excellent show. I don't know. They're great shows at all the parks, and I think they're kind of overlooked because of the rides sometimes. But anyway, I wrapped up that day close to sunset, and I was sad because it was the end of basically the end of the trip. It had started not too long ago, and it was over with. But we had when I got back, I think I met you at the main building at Caribbean Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for dinner. We thought maybe we'd go to the pool bar at Banana Cabana there and have dinner, but it was like packed with people. There wasn't really a place to sit. We didn't feel like going anywhere else. We thought maybe we'd go, I don't know, somewhere like a chain restaurant in the area surrounding Disney World if because it would be easier to get in the car, I think, than like trying to get on Disney transportation and go somewhere at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I was like, why don't I look on the app and see if we can get a reservation at Sebastian's there at Caribbean Beach, and we did. Like they had one right there right like close to closing time that was available, and so I think we had to wait another 15 minutes or so before it was ready for us, but
Yeah, not bad at all.
no. And it was really nice out. Like the weather had cooled off, and especially at night, it was really nice. So we were just sitting there, kind of enjoying the breeze, and I don't know, it was really nice. And then we had our meal.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah,
Probably the best, probably the best thing that I ate while I was down there was that dinner at Sebastian's.
yeah. So I don't know, like I'd never eaten at Sebastian's, but my understanding of Sebastian's reputation for most of its existence was that it was okay. It
Mm-hmm.
was kind of a mid-level sit-down restaurant that its virtue was it was cheaper than a lot of the other hotel sit-down restaurants, but the food wasn't great. It just was not a great experience. But I think that they had changed it, like had just changed it right before we went down there. And they had switched from it being a menu to a set. It was a set menu. Like you would order the same thing. I mean, they had a vegan option, I think, and then they had the meat option.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like family style. and it was great. Like the salad was good. They brought these rolls out with these jams that were excellent. Um, and then the meat was all great.
Yeah.
Uh,
The other thing is, I should say, maybe makes my review a little less than objective, is as I recall, I had a cocktail and it immediately went to my head. I think I had I'm looking at the menu right now. I think I had the Caribbean Smuggler, that feels right.
yeah, that sounds
Um,
right.
and I was like, suddenly I was like, oh, right, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I am 40 years old, and I do not go out drinking basically ever. So yeah, so like immediately I was like, this is fantastic. This is the best, you know.
Yeah,
But the food was really wonderful too.
yeah.
And like the
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, it was a great meal. We had a great server too. I wish I remembered his name,
hmm
um, but it was great. Um, like I mean, the meat, the sides, the cocktail I had was great too. And then the dessert, which if you're listening to this and you've been to like Ohana at the Polynesian, it's a very similar dessert, except for I think it's got coconut at Sebastian's, uh, as opposed to I don't think there's coconut on the Ohana bread pudding. But yeah, I mean it's just like pineapple coconut bread pudding with ice cream on it and like this sweet like caramel sauce, I think. And it was excellent. And like before we just on a whim decided to eat there, we had no intentions of going there. And we would have missed out on probably our both of our favorite meals
yeah,
if we had.
absolutely. Absolutely. Really glad we went. And that whole night was just a really nice, it was a really nice night. It was nice, it was chill. One of us was a little drunk. And uh like just the lights reflected onto the lake was all really beautiful and it was just really wonderful.
I think maybe we saw some of the Epcot fireworks at some point too, but
I think so, yeah. I can't remember if it was that night or if it was another night.
and then we went back to our room the last night we spent there and fell asleep to Timon and Pumbaa giving safety tips.
That was Amy's thing, like just the having the light on of the Timon and Pumbaa safety channel helped her sleep. And so like, wake up like 3 in the morning, just kind of get jostled awake for whatever reason. I look up and like, yeah, they're in the middle of explaining washing their hands or whatever.
I mean, of course, the way that that works, it's Pumbaa explaining all the safety things because Timon is the jackass who didn't do the safe thing, and Pumbaa has to lecture him. It's kind of weird and doesn't really fit their relationship necessarily, but
Yeah,
uh,
I don't think these are canon. I think these safety announcements are not canon.
but yeah, I don't know. It's just something a whole channel devoted to those Timon and Pumbaa PSA that maybe one or two of them are directly related to like spending time at a resort or a theme park, but
A lot of them are like looking both ways. You know,
yeah,
like they're really, yeah, I don't, they're just kind of generic safety.
yeah.
I think I prefer them to the modern Mickey Mouse cartoons though. So like there's
Oh yeah, there was a channel that was just showing those over and over too.
Mhm.
I love my wife too much to have
Subjected to it.
subjected her to those.
Ah,
I mean, I think we enjoyed the there was like a music video channel too that I think we enjoyed that one too, but that had like, I don't know, a bunch of Encanto songs and like Let It Go and all of those. You remember that?
Yes, it was just like Disney music videos. Yeah, yeah, and I remember anytime that like we got on there and Surface Pressure was starting, we had to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which fair enough, that's a great song.
Yeah. But no, that's one of the parts of staying on property are all those little channels, which I don't know if they go to the smart TVs, how much of that is still there. Um, I assume the cable channels are still there, but I
Hmm.
think the like the introduction channel was like when you like for a while now, I think when you go in to a resort, there's this channel that's like playing like instrumental Disney songs on a terrible it sounds like an AM radio station or something. And then it like is doing the slideshow of different things happening in the parks and that. I don't know if that still exists on because they moved more towards smart TVs. I don't know. I'll have to see the next time I'm at Disney, but uh, that was always a neat part of the experience. I thought that, and then of course they have the channel that's just like selling you on whatever the hell they're doing, uh, which usually had like an extra chipper woman uh, for a couple decades. Like it was different actresses or different women like doing the character that was like going around to these places and like selling what's happening at the different parks and resorts and stuff. I don't remember their names off the top of my head. I'm sure people watching this are probably gilling at me right now for what their name is. I'm sure my sister would know. So Stacy, I think, was one of them. But I don't know that part of the experience is something I really enjoy. Um, but yeah, after that night of Sebastian's, we slept and then we got up and checked out and came home.
It was a nice trip. I'm really glad
Yeah,
we didn't.
yeah,
The thing that I ended up saying to you afterwards, and also just to like, because people wanted to know, because I was like very open about the fact that this is a Disney World and I didn't know anything about it and I wasn't sure what to expect. And the thing that I ended up saying is that it's kind of undeniable. Like it wins you over. There's no way that it couldn't, even if you're kind of like a little bit of a grouch and have a few sensory issues like me, like there's still something about it that you kind of can't ignore. And of course, there was also the element that I was going there with my wife, or my, at that point, my wife to be. And, it was the two of us, and she was going to show me this place that was very meaningful to her. And that was really nice as well. Um, I would definitely go back again. Um, but I think next time we would be more realistic about our capacities. And I think that would probably make it a little bit less, the early days a little bit less tumultuous. Um, and also I would know my way around a little bit more. And we could do a thing where you went earlier and I came later, or, like there's a lot of ways we could do it, you know.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah. If I were we were doing it again, there would be no expectation any of the days that you would rope drop with me. Um, you could come whenever you wanted to, kind of thing. So, because I think it would work better, and we would just use Genie Plus as best as we could to maybe get rides at different
Hmm.
times and work around it, kind of thing. Um, I think there was just a pressure that I felt on that trip to just like do as much as possible.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately, and I get what you feel like, because it's like it's so expensive and it's so much of an ordeal to get down there. And there's an element of it that like you're gonna feel this pressure that you want to do everything. Are you really getting your money's worth if you don't go on every ride, if you don't go on every like if you don't see every show, if you don't go to the Hall of Presidents and see the Donald Trump that looks like Hillary Clinton or whatever it is that you want to do. And that kind of puts you in a bad place to actually appreciate what you are getting, and what is, special about it, because that's just not an attitude that's conducive to having any fun.
Yeah. And I think I kind of took the attitude with Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios of just doing whatever I felt like doing. Uh, Even if it meant not doing everything that I necessarily wanted to do. And I think it turned out that it was a wise idea that I didn't go to Toy Story Land or Galaxy's Edge because my feet just couldn't have handled the additional walking by that final day. I was just not prepared. I'd forgotten that you might walk 10,000, 15,000, even more steps at Disney World in a given day.
Hmm.
You don't think you would because it's not like well, Epcot is pretty gigantic, uh
Right.
but you don't account for all the walking to the transportation and from the transportation and walking back and forth. It adds up, and I don't know. It was a good time. Um,
It was a good time.
yeah, I'm looking forward to going with you to Disneyland someday.
Yeah, it'll be nice to do that in a state that isn't actively gearing its law enforcement apparatus to destroy us.
Yeah, I think that was also one of the pressures why I really wanted to get as much as I could because I didn't know what point Ron DeSantis was going to order the state
Right.
cops to start checking people's underwear
Yeah, like doing
at the state
genital checks
line.
at this.
Yeah, like it would be the same stand that they have set up for the checking to see if you're
Mhm.
bringing in any illegal like oranges or whatever into the state, but it's it's checking checking down there.
Illegal oranges and an illegal hog.
Yeah.
On that note.
On that note, I think we can wrap this episode up. We're already have talked for like 2 hours at this point, so yeah.
Mm.
I don't know if this episode is going to be that long. What we can cut, but
Yeah,
I don't know. This was a great conversation, though. I enjoyed it.
I thought so too. I really liked it. All right.
Okay. Well, until next time, this has been Amy, and
This is Cora.
talk to you later.
Bye.